Fine. So in the today's session, we'll see the custom roles. Okay. So when I talk about custom roles, it's very similar to working on custom menus in EBS. So we know as per the user requirement based on the role in their company, we have to create the custom roles, custom menus. When you talk about EBS, similar to that, instead of menus here we have a roles, how to manage those roles, how to copy and modify, how to create the role from the scratch. When I talk about roles, different roles, that can be job role or duty role, how to create, if you create the job role, okay, how to include a duty role in that. So we'll just go through all these points. First we'll just look at, say, create custom role. This could be job role or duty role. This will just try to work on with a function called as copy. Okay. How to create the custom role by copying the existing role. That could be job role or duty role. After that, we'll just see how to create custom job role, create custom duty role. Okay. So after creating the job role or duty role, any role, finally that if you create job role, that you have to assign, if you create duty role, we have to assign to the job role. Finally that you can assign to user, assign to user. Once you assign the role to user, we know we sorry, we have to provide the data access, right? Provide data access to user and we'll run LDAP job. Okay, that's how it works. So first we'll go through, we'll review the specific role and we'll make a copy and we'll do the modifications and we'll discuss so required information. Fine. So when you talk about roles, we have to navigate to security console. Just navigate to security console. Security console. Okay, here you could see roles. So as a part of this analysis, you can see all the roles which are available for different product families. I mean to say, offering wise, you could see all the roles here. So these are the different roles. You can see for which area, what offerings, what roles we have. All you could see. We'll just go to financials. When I talk about financials, you could see in the system 131 job roles and duty roles are 271. These all are seeded as well as custom roles, which are created in this environment for testing purpose. So this is how you could see. Okay, for any application, any other applications also you can find in the same way. Here, nothing we can do with this. Only the point is you have to go to the first tab called as roles. Just go to roles tab and search for any one of the role. So we'll go with the payables related role. Say accounts payable, accounts payable, say supervisor role. So these all are data roles because these all we are getting. These are copied from the, previous versions from release 11. They migrated. That is the reason you could see here. So here you can find accounts payable supervisor role, right? You can select. Yes, you can select it. Okay, search and find any one of the role. The accounts payable supervisor has access to privileges. All you could see here. Okay, payables invoice processing, review application offering, submit payable payment process, supplier profile inquiry. Okay, so many privileges this role has, and again these privileges, how this role has that they are showing here as inherited by role name. So within this is a payables accounts payable supervisor is job role. Within the job role, there could be a number of duty roles. Okay, so these all are coming from which duty role. All the details you could see here itself. Once you select the role, so you can find out all these information within the role. So now whatever we are able to see here, okay, the privileges or duty roles as a part of accounts payable supervisor is in terms of that as a table format. Now you can go with some graphical representation. Just select this graph, and here you could find all that information in the graphical representation. Okay, so here within the accounts payable supervisor, these are the different privileges and duty roles we have. Okay, so I'm just going with one of the duty role called as payables invoice processing. Just double click on that. So within that duty role, in the accounts payable supervisor, we have a duty role called as payables invoice processing. That payables invoice processing duty role has which privileges. If you want to see, you can just double click, that will be expanded. Now you can zoom in, just you can drag. You can see the payables invoice processing duty role has access to which other privileges. Those could be privileges or those could be reports. Okay, so all just you could see here, validate payable invoices, inquiries, and submitting the reports, submit payable credit memo matching report. Okay, submit. There are most of the privileges are report related. We have invoice validation, and most of the privileges are.
Lakshman, if you want to disable a certain function, like on the AP invoice at the line level, we have
Yeah,
a
we'll see that. We are going to see. In that case, only the option is removing. You have to make a copy of this role. Okay, you have to make a copy of this role, and you'll be just giving the different name for that. So then you can just disable option we don't have. It's all about you have to remove that privilege, or else you can add additional privileges into that specific role. Okay.
my question more or less was, if I have to disable a feature, say multi-period accounting, I want to disable those features at the line level, and that normally, I think if you go to view, you have an option to enable the tab for multi-period accounting. So if I want to disable that, I don't want to give that function. What is a general approach out here?
No. See, that is that you don't get because of this role. That is that BU specific things you can manage with BU level. If you, any control you have at BU level, you can do it, or else you have to do some personalization. That's it. If
All right.
privileges are from specific role based privileges, yes, within the role you can manage it. Okay, those are coming as a standard product features, say through options. Okay, those just for most of the cases we'll have an option of disabling or enabling at that specific setup level. Okay, so accordingly you can manage, or else only the best option is personalization. Yes. That's all. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Lakshman, one doubt there.
Yeah, please.
Accounts payable supervisor is a role.
Job.
Under that role, you have privileges, right? This
No,
is
no,
payable invoice processing is a privilege.
no. See, these are all are privileges. So, those privileges you could see direct privileges are those privileges through specific duty role. So, reality payables invoice processing is one of the duty role already discussed in the initial classes. So job roles, within the job role you can have a duty role. The accounts payables manager is supervisor is job role. Within the job role we have many duty roles. One of the duty role name is payables invoice
Okay.
processing. Within that all these are privileges. The privilege the user may have privilege to submit the run the report, or the user may have a privilege to perform some activity. Validate payables invoice. Okay, so this is how you could see. What I'll do is we'll go with some other one. I'll double click, it will be zoom out. So these are our duty roles. Okay, so payables invoice creation, double click, zoom in. Okay, so this duty role, this is also duty role. This has what privileges? So import payable invoices, import payable, okay, payment requests, okay, validate payable invoices. Okay, this is how these are the view purchase and orders. This is the primary privileges this role has. Okay, this duty role has. If you want to minimize it, double click, just drag. Just 1 second. So you could see from here, and we have other. There are many duty roles. Many duty roles. These all are duty roles. Okay, so I'll go with this fables and voice. Double click and zoom in. You could see the privilege names exactly. Okay, so this is just for to understand which role has which privileges. You can just go with the this graphical representation. If not graphical representation, you can go with a list. Okay, table format also. This is how just you can go through it. Okay, say this is accounts payable supervisor. We have within that we have many privileges. So now what we want to do is, so how exactly the certain duty roles we have within that are privileges we have, you want to modify. If you want to modify, if you want to create the accounts payable supervisor role as a custom role as per your requirement, what you can do is, it's very simple. You can copy this role. You can copy this accounts payable supervisor role and you can modify as you require. So if you want to do that, see here, once you search for the role, the left side you can see that the search results, the same role, accounts payable supervisor or AP accounts payable supervisor. Just you can, the description also you can see what purpose and what privileges this can have, and you can click on this actions. Never go with the edit role option. If the role is already you created, that is a custom role, then only you can go with the edit role. For seeded roles, what Oracle provides, for those roles you should not select option called as edit role. It's not at all recommended. So don't edit any seeded roles. Always you can edit the role which is created by you as a custom role. Okay, now what we'll do is, if you want to edit accounts payable supervisor, don't edit directly. You have to copy it, because this is seeded role. You should not edit. So select option called as copy role. We are going to copy this accounts payable supervisor role. Okay. So copy top role and inherited roles. The inherited roles are not required, just the roles which are included within that. Even if you go with the copy top roles also, that will have a, that will be taking all the inherited roles which are required to support the payables functionality. So you can go with the copy top role selection and just it's copied. If you notice here that this is a role which we are trying to copy, and system is adding GSE. So this you can do as a suffix setup. Okay, this you can do as a suffix setup. I'll show you that. So here, when you copy any role, which suffix or prefix system has to, system should add automatically, that you can specify. I'm just opening the same in the different window. So if you go to security console, you go to analytics. No, it's not. I think here, administration. You can go to administration part. So there you can go to roles copy status. Roles. You can go with the roles tab. So here you could see, okay, role preference. Okay, copied role name prefix. What prefix we require, what suffix required. Okay, here they given only suffix. That is the reason when we copied the role, system is taking suffix as a GSC, or else we may change the name to copy. If you write suffix should be copy for our understanding purpose. The role which you copy, automatically system will take suffix as a GSC or copy whatever the name you provide. Later you can change it. If you want to change, you can change. Here we'll write the name as Cloud INC. Cloud INC Accounts Payable Supervisor. Okay, that you can write here. So the role which we are copying is job role, right? Accounts Payable Supervisor is job role, not duty role. The same purpose we are copying, and if you want to rewrite this description, you can write it. Now you can click on next. Okay, so so these are the privileges we have within that. If you want to see the detailed privileges by connecting to that role, inherited policies, and I'll just click on load inherited policies here. Just click on load inherited policies. So it loaded all the privileges here. You see here what privileges this role has, all the privileges. You can go one by one here. So cancel payable invoices. There are many, like correct payables, import validation errors, all the different privileges. So big list we have. Okay, still if you want to add some new function, new privilege to this role, yes, you can do it. So add function security policy. You can click on add. If you want to add some additional privilege, maybe through, you can include one role into one job role into another job role, and anyway duty roles easily you can include into that. So what you can include into this role, you can say you may add one new job role into this already, the job role which you copied, or else duty role or abstract roles or just privilege. So anything you can add into this. Say I want to add one report into this role. Say submit uh, let's say submit accounts payables. Let's say submit payables aging report. So these all are the reports. If you just type submit, you could see all the reports. So in case of EBS, we have to create the request group. to group the reports so that that request group you can assign to responsibility. So the user who has access to the responsibility, the user can have access to those reports. But here the privileges means it could be report privilege or some function privilege. Everything you can include into role itself. Within the role only we can do it. Say submit invoice. So payables invoice. Okay, submit payables invoice aging report or submit payables invoice register. Okay, this you can select. Again, you search it and say add selected. See, when you search for it, you just go with this selection. The same, the code is different. In the last suffix, you could see. Okay, some preview PRIV. Just that you can select. This will get assigned. And just this is how just you can add. If you want to add any other reports and all, you can do from here itself. So you want to add assign invoice aging report, search, and the code suffix should be PRIV. Select it, say add privileges to role. The privilege can be report access or some functional access. Okay, so that's how you can assign if you want to assign. Okay, if you want to remove just certain privileges you don't need within this duty role, I mean within this what are the privileges you have. If you want to remove any one of the privilege, you can just select that privilege and you can delete it, or else going forward in the further steps also we have option to do it. So directly we copied job role, not duty role. So this has many duty roles inside. So specific, if you want to remove, you can remove additional duty roles also. You can add, system will allow. Or let's go and assign another role into this role. So this is a accounts payable supervisor role, right? I want to include accounts payables manager role into this job role. We can do that. Accounts payables manager, payable manager. So look for accounts payables payable manager role. Select.
If I want to give a user an access, a read-only access to supplier invoice screen,
Yeah,
how can we do that?
yes, that we can set as the data security policies. Data security policies. Here, there we can go on to specify what privileges you require. You can set it up. We'll see that.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Fine. So select it. Say add selected privileges assigned. Now we included accounts payables manager role into accounts payable supervisor. This is how just you can include. Okay, just click on next. Here you could see the data security policies. Here you can, so this is a seeded role. In the seeded role, Oracle given. So when you talk about accounts payable supervisor should be associated with the business unit, because this role is related to payables. When you talk about payables, payable application is managed at BU level. So all those privileges they given. Okay, the policy name, grant on business unit, all these already they given. So if you notice here, see here, the privilege they given, read only privilege they given. Okay, we can add many privileges how we require.
How to add a privilege by clicking on this drop down button?
No, not drop down button here. You have to click on this. I'll show you, because this just we are copying. Okay, let this process complete, and when we in the next step will create the role from the scratch, create custom job role or duty role, we'll create from the scratch. We are not going to copy.
Okay.
Okay, so at that time I'll just take you through that. So here you can click on that. It will ask the just policy name. You can give database. Resource means your ledger or your business unit, that specification you can give. And here just actions and all you can specify based on this selection. The action you can give here, specific action, as well as within this action only you can select the privileges, read only or read and write, all the privileges you can give there. So this is a seeded role. So this is how we have all the privileges. Okay, the data security policies. This role can have access to which different categories of the data. It will have access to supplier data. When you are working on payables, supplier access required. Okay, when you are working the same like, so for GL related, when we are working on these payables, yes, GL access is required. Okay, that all these privileges they are seeded. When we are creating our own custom role, just I'll just show you how to add this. But for now, in this just copy process, just notice this. Okay, the basic information we given the name, and in the functional security policies you can add which privileges you require. That could be report, or it's a specific function, specific privilege, or it can be duty role or job role. Anything you can add into this functional security policies. Just we'll go back. Even within the functional security policies, you can add duty role also. Say one of the duty role is accounts payable invoice creation or else payment process. Say I want to add payables invoice creation duty. Okay, payable invoice creation duty. You can select, search, say add selected privileges, add it. So this is of any duty role or job role you can add. Then click on next, data security policies. Since this is seeded one, you could see all the data security policies, okay, which are required for this role based on the application. This point will test, will be just I'll take you through how to create it also when you are creating the custom role from the scratch. This is just we are copying and we are trying to modify. Then click on next. So role hierarchy, in this stage also you could see the same, all the privileges what we have in the our whatever the role we just have. Is all it's showing just validate payable invoices, validate payable invoices. Okay, that means validate payable invoices. You could see just the twice. Why we are getting this privilege twice? This is coming from the two different duty roles. The first duty role is payables invoice processing and payables invoice creation. From these two job roles, this is coming. Okay, so if you don't need twice, or if you don't want to allow this accounts payable supervisor to validate the invoices, you can select and you can delete it. Okay, you can select and you can delete. You want to add some other role or other privilege or other report into this custom role, copied role, from here also you can do the same. We could do from here also, right? From function security policies, from here you can do, or else from roles hierarchy also you'll be able to do it. From here also you can add any report or any privilege or any job role or duty role into this role. So I want to add the privileges like payables payment related process. Okay, so payables payment creation duty, I want to include that into this supervisor role. Okay, so select, then search and select and say add role membership. Done, we added. So all the relevant privileges will be loaded into this, okay, section. So anything just you can remove or you can add. Okay, that's how we can do at this job role level. Now you can click on next. And here the users. So we know like any role we can assign to the user from the security console. Instead of from security console, you can assign from here itself. So I want to assign this role to our user. You can do from here. At the time of role creation itself, if you know this role is required for which user, that you can assign. Our username is Cloud INC. First one. So add user to role. Done. Close it. Then click on next. So you can notice all the points here. Okay, Fusion security policies added. Okay, because this role we taken as a copy role. As a part of after copying, just we added some additional privileges. 25 additional security policies are added. Functional security policies, nothing but the functions. And the role hierarchy added one role hierarchy is added, and users added one. Okay, impact, this will impact only one user because one user only we added. So this is how just you can copy any role. Now we copied job role. After that we'll see the duty role also for our understanding how to copy, how to modify. Same process, just you will be selecting the duty role. That's all. So once you're done with that, you can say submit and to close. Now already we assign this role to our user. Otherwise you can just go and assign to any other user. I will go and see that. Cloud INC. If you go to our user, you could see us that role is assigned to this user. Let's refresh it. Okay, it's not reflecting. What we'll do is we'll sign out and sign in and we can find it. Just go to security console. Go to users. Our username is Cloud INC. So you can see the role name called as Cloud INC Accounts Payable Supervisor, which we just copied, modified, and assigned to this user. Okay, now just we'll look at the process of same process. If you want to copy the duty role also, so we'll go with one of the duty role called as payables invoice creation duty. Okay, select this duty role. The same way you can just review all the privileges here. What are the privileges this has, and you can go with the graphical representation. Okay, so again this duty role has which other roles. Here you could notice just so now green color represents other role, and this uh, I mean this represents privileges including the number of roles and the number of privileges. 5 roles we have within that. Here the selection of system is showing, and the privileges we have 16 within that. So you can look into that. This is a purchase order viewing duty, and this is related to just 1 second. This is a review receipt summary. Okay, these all are the different privileges. So apply or unapply prepayment. Okay, correct payables invoice validations, and create payable invoice, delete payable invoice. Say for example, you want to allow this, you want to give access to specific user for this role. Okay, these I mean, you want to give some payables invoice creation duty to specific role. We cannot give payables invoice creation duty role to specific user. What we have to do is, uh, uh, I mean, if you want to give payable invoice creation duty to specific user, you have to create job role for that, and within the job role you have to include this duty role. Then only you can give the access. Duty roles we cannot assign to the user directly, only job roles. And again, say your requirement is, here you have a different privileges. Okay, you don't want to give some delete payable invoice privilege to the user. In that case, what you can do is, you can copy this role and you can remove what privileges you don't want to give to the user. If any other privileges you want to give to the user which are not available within this duty role, those you can include into this. Okay, say for example, you don't want to allow that user to validate the invoices, just you want to allow them to create. Okay, so based on the requirement, just you can modify. We'll just go and do it, and once you modify this duty role, this you can take into job role. Okay, say just you can say copy role. Okay, say copy role, and here since that suffix copy suffix we have GSC, that system is copy. I'll say cloud INC payables invoice duty. Here also I'll add the role code cloud INC, and click on next. So these are the different privileges. Okay, all are the privileges. You can click on load inherited policies, the privileges which are hidden within this duty role, those also system will be loading. If you click on that, it's loaded all. If you want to add anything, you can add. If you want to delete any privilege, you can select and you can delete from here. Same process. Then click on next. Okay, so here the data security policies, just they mapped as a payables invoice creation duty. Okay, can access note, the note they given here. Okay, payables invoice creation duty can have access for any payables invoice note using the just manage payable invoice note. Just they just written some specifications. You could notice the privileges: read privilege, update privilege, delete privilege, manage invoices. So these are the different privileges. So for specific function, if you want to give just specific privilege, in that case you will be selecting. When you create the new one, you will be selecting the specific one, and you will be setting. You can set read only privilege. Okay, read only privilege you can set it up. We'll see that when you are creating the custom one. We'll see that this is just be copied. Let it be as this, and just click on next. And in the role hierarchy level, this level also will have an option of adding other roles into this duty role. Okay, even you can, this is a duty role. In this duty role you can add other duty role, or else you can add job role also into this duty role, or you can add the reports, anything you can add from here. Okay, as per requirement. Click on next, and this cannot be assigned to the user. Add users, this got disabled. Say close. So save and close. Okay, now we created one, we copied and we created. If you want to do modifications, you can do it the same, like you can select into your duty role. Okay, for our testing purpose, we created one job role, right? The job role called as Cloud INC accounts payable supervisor, right? This is what we created. You select it. Now this role is custom role. If it is a custom role, what you can do is directly you can go with edit role. We should not edit seeded roles. If there is any need of editing the seeded roles, the best practice is copy that and edit as per your requirement. Directly don't edit any seeded roles. Even when you are practicing also, please don't do it. Okay, so this is a cloud INC accounts payable supervisor, the job role. This is a job role which we created by copying, and we did some modifications. So you may click on edit this role. Okay, think within this role we don't have any privileges. You want to assign the privileges which we have in the accounts, I mean payables invoice creation duty, that you can add here. So you can search for cloud INC payables invoice creation duty. This is a duty role we are taking into this job role. Search. So add selected privileges. So already assigned to this cloud INC. So these privileges, whatever the privileges we have inside of this, all are available. System is showing. In that case, you don't need to assign, because already this is a seeded one we copied, and this also we just copied, but we didn't do any changes. See, all the privileges from the cloud payables invoice creation duty are already assigned to the, it is already available. It is showing. Even if few additional privileges we have within that, in that case system will accept. So that's how just you can copy the job role or duty role. Those you can, if it is a duty role, you can include in the job role. If that is a job role, you know, directly you can assign to the user. Okay, that is a process just we can follow. Now we'll just look at few other points, then we'll proceed and we'll create the custom job role and duty role. Before that, what we can do is, so first when you are dealing with these roles, first very important point is which role has which privileges. This is the one place where you can see, like with a graphical representation or table format. Okay, you can see the privileges. Fine. This is a like accounts payable supervisor role. So instead of finding from here, say for example, when I talk about payables, we have a three primary seeded roles: accounts payables manager, accounts payable supervisor, accounts payable specialist. Now you have one user, the user requires specific privileges. Now you have to take the decision whether you have to assign the accounts payable specialist to that user or accounts payable supervisor. In that case, you should be able to compare and you should be able to see the detailed information, okay, which is available within that role. In that case, what you can do is you can go with the compare option. So compare, you can go from here also. First we'll just search from here, say accounts payable specialist. Scroll down. Okay, accounts payable specialist. So here from these actions, you should not edit. If it is readed, you have to copy. You can copy. If you want to compare this accounts payable specialist role with other role, okay, after selecting any one of the role, you can select compare role. Just click on compare role. It is selected. Now you accounts payable specialist, you want to compare with which other role, that you can select here. Two roles you can compare to understand which role has which privileges, which privileges are distinct from specific role. So here, say you want to compare accounts payable specialist with accounts payable supervisor. Select and say OK, and click on compare. Fine, done. So here you can see accounts payable specialist related privileges and accounts payable supervisor. Okay, these two roles we have. So here you, if you notice, like these are the actual privileges, specific privileges. Say cancel payables invoice. Cancel payables invoice. That privilege is not available from accounts payable specialist. That is available from accounts payable supervisor. The same way you can just go one by one. They all are different privileges which are from these two different roles, but which privilege is available from which role they are just giving here. Create payables payment. The payment creation is possible only accounts payable supervisor, not from accounts payable specialist. Just compare. So when you compare accounts payable specialist with a supervisor, supervisor will have more privileges that you can notice here. So we'll go a little down. Okay, this is how you can see. You don't want to go and verify one by one. What you want to do is, see here you could find certain privileges are available for two roles. Okay, okay, this is how just you can go through it's very difficult to verify and find in this process, with this process. For that, what you could do is, here you can find out. So maybe if you want to compare, yes, you can compare through this manual process where system will display the all, okay, all privileges which are available from accounts payable supervisor and accounts payable specialist. From these two roles, all the privileges it will list out, and which are available from payable specialist, which are available from payable supervisor, it will display. If you don't want to see in this way, you want to see only in the first role. So only in the first role. So these two we have only in the first role. Only payable specialist has access to these two functions. Only in the second role you'll have many. So these all, what you could see here, these all are not available in the accounts payable specialist. These privileges only available in the supervisor. We selected only the second role here. Which is second role? Accounts payable supervisor. Only in the accounts payable supervisor only these privileges you can see. So again, you want to understand in two roles commonly which privileges we have. In that case, you can select in both roles. So these are the common privileges these two roles has. Okay, these are the common privileges. This is how just you can compare the roles. So within the role, the privileges you can compare common or just only in first, only in second, all with these different options you can verify. Then you can take the decision which is the right role as per the user requirement. First we'll just understand this so that we'll have idea. So or else we'll just once again we'll verify as per user requirement. We can just copy the specific role and you can modify which privileges that user doesn't require, that those you can modify. Any additional privileges required, those you can include. That's how you can just manage with the roles. So delete, create, all we have from the two roles. Okay, so this is how you can do it. What we did, we selected one role and we just through actions we navigated to compare role. Instead of searching for this directly, you can click on compare roles instead of selecting any role here. See, so you can navigate to this page roles. So instead of searching for specific role directly, you can go with the compare roles. So here you have to select the two roles, which roles you want to compare. You can directly you can select. Accounts payable manager. So we want to compare accounts payables manager and accounts payable specialist. These two roles we want to compare. Say supervisor. We can understand what are the differences. Okay, the access variants they're given. Just click on compare. Yeah. Now you can just notice here. So accounts payable manager. So these all privileges has, and the accounts payable supervisor doesn't have access to those privileges. See here. So this is just you can verify, or else we have a different options based on how you want to find what you want to find. Okay, only in the first role means accounts payable manager has, which are not available in the payables supervisor. Many we have, so many privileges. Okay, so this information, if you want to export into spreadsheet, you can do that. Export to Excel, this information, exactly this information will be exported. So that's how you can take for analysis, and you can prepare it, which is not required, which is required, and you can add it by with the help of the sheet. You can just prepare the custom role, maybe copy, and you can modify. That's how you can work on it. Only in the second row. So these privileges we don't have in the accounts payable manager. Accounts payable manager doesn't have access to invoice creation and payment creation. Only invoice creation, payment creation possible from supervisor only or specialist. So in both the common privileges, many. Okay, this is how just you can compare the privileges. Other point here is just select any one of the role. Okay. Now, so what I want to know is we are accessing the application as a Cloud INC user. This Cloud INC user, if you go to Navigator, within the Navigator, this Cloud INC user has access to which privileges all you could see. But if you want to verify, okay, these many privileges we are able to see from this user Navigator. But because of this role, okay, which privileges this user is able to access, if you want to check it, you can go with this option. You can select specific role. That means accounts, because of accounts payable supervisor. Okay, because of accounts payable supervisor, exactly. I'll just go to this Navigator. I may ask you the question. So here I could see many privileges. Which privileges we are getting because of accounts payables manager or accounts payable supervisor. So if there is a question, you can get answered with this action. You can go to this action and you can say simulate navigator. Within the current user navigator, which privileges we are getting because of accounts payable supervisor. If you want to know, you can click on this simulate navigator. Just it will simulate and it will identify, it will show which privileges this Cloud INC user has because of accounts payables manager role, the navigator that you could see. So all it is showing, you can see that these are not unlocked, locked. Means these are not related to accounts payable supervisor. If you want to see access granted. Because of accounts payable supervisor, for which privileges access is granted to this user, if you want to see, select it. Access granted. Because of this accounts payable supervisor, this user can have access to invoices and payments. Okay, invoice and payments. So remaining all which you could see here, tools, etc., etc., these all will come by default. Okay, these all will just come by default. These all are very generic things. Okay, these all you get by default. Okay, very primarily these are the payable section, sales, customer data management, procurement, social. These all by default you'll get. Okay, if you create the user. So primarily these two we are able to see in this navigator because of accounts payable supervisor. So maybe not only because of accounts payable supervisor, maybe because of accounts payable specialist also and accounts payable manager also. But accounts payable supervisor also will provide the access to invoices and payments. This is how just you can simulate and you can understand. So which role is providing access to what. Okay, just within the navigator comparison purpose. Otherwise, just now we have seen how to compare two roles, how to verify that is a process we can follow. Okay, so that's how we can do it. Now we'll see how to create the role from the scratch. Hope you are clear on these points. So if you want to edit, don't edit seeded roles. Always you can use this option to edit custom job role or duty role. And copy roles, yes, any role you can copy and you can modify. And compare roles, as we just verified. Simulate means so you can test it by selecting specific role. That role has access to which privileges in the current navigator for specific user that you can verify. Okay, that's how we can just look into this. So apart from this, so we'll see how to create the role from the scratch. So all the time what we do is the most of the time we'll copy. We use the copy option only and we'll do the required modification just to understand if you want to create from the scratch how to create. So say create role. First we'll create we'll go with the job role. We'll create job role so that the job role we can take into duty role. So we can give the job role name as cloud CINC. I'm just giving the prefix as CINC, cloud INC, CINC invoice creation. I'm just creating the duty role. CINC, cloud INC, invoice creation. Role category. So which role you want to create? Duty role. So select duty role. So what is the purpose of this role? That you can write as a description. Invoice creation. Or else based on which privileges you are going to include in that you can select accordingly. So just invoice creation how you want to have accordingly you can do. Okay. So fine. So this is how you can write the description. What are the privileges we are going to include within this duty role? Okay, done. So now you can click on next. So here you can add functional security policies. Which privileges you want to give to this user that you can add here. So say invoice creation. Tables invoice creation. Okay, so duty role you are creating, but what Oracle is providing that you can select into this. Okay, just you select. So click on search and you can select it. Select. Done. So these are the different privileges. Now what you need, what you don't require, just all you can take the decision. Say, I don't want to allow this. If I assign this, I mean, directly we cannot assign this to the user. this invoice creation duty role will include into job role. That job role will assign to user. When you assign that to the user, you don't want to allow them to delete the invoices. When they go to invoice action, there should not be delete invoice option. Okay, in that case, you can select and you can say delete. Delete this privilege from here. No delete option. And import payable invoices. I don't want to allow that specific user to import the payable invoices from other sources. Select it. Delete from here. And you don't want to allow some other privileges also. Those you can just go through it. You don't want to allow the user, okay, to validate the invoices. Okay, so these are the very limited privileges you have, and you don't want to allow this user to view the scanned payables invoices. We will be covering that concept. Okay, so we have in our course curriculum, so we'll see that. You don't want to allow, for example, for this user, you can delete it. What else you want to allow this user to perform on the payables process? Those you can add here. So this seems to this user doesn't, I mean, this role by default doesn't have access to any reports access. Those will just add it. So go to, so I want to give the access to this user to create the reports. Say submit payables invoice using report or payables register, invoice register. Click on search. So OBA, don't go with OBA. This one you have to select. Copy. Just add to. Done. This report is added. So in this list you could see that report name. Submit payables invoice report. Only this report access only this user has. Same way, if any other reports, other privileges are required, you can add here. Okay. Here you can click on next. And data security policies. Okay, so which role you are creating, that always what the best thing you can do is you can go to the serial duty role. Within the serial duty role, what privileges we have, the same you can copy. So here just I'm opening in the different tab. Just 1 second. Yeah, go to security console. Here you can search for payables invoice creation. We are not going to modify, just I'm clicking on edit to go through this data security policies. That's all. Click on next. Click on next. Here you can notice, so which data security policy is required. Okay, that you can specify here. See here, this is a duty role. Directly duty role cannot be connected to business unit. That is the reason there is no BU access to data role. This duty role will be part of job role. Job role level will be mapping the BU access. That is an important point you have to understand. So here, this is what we have to do it. Just you can simply same information you can copy and paste here. Okay. So say create data security policy. And you can go with the data resource as a note. These all are just serial values. Note. So just when you are creating custom, just always refer the serial. and description also. Same I'm copying and pasting for this. Here you can write the description. And privilege and condition. Here AP node instance set. You can select here. Condition means your data set. Here it will open the field, additional field. You can say select by instance set. So here what you could see that you can find in the condition name. Your condition name is AP instance set. Within this you can find AP instance set. This is AP nodes instance set. This you can select. Actions. Here it's nothing but privileges. Read, update, delete and all which you need. Or else for the entire this, if you want to give read only, you can give accordingly. Here you will have a different privileges. You can set it up. Yeah. Want to give for entire this duty role, read only. Don't want to just only you want to give the view access. In that case, you select only read only. Okay. So here just we are following this how they did the same way you can do it. Read, update, delete. Manage payables, invoices, note. That also you can include it. Manage payable invoice, note. So these three different access privileges we given: read, okay, update, and modify. Read, delete, update wherever applicable based on the privileges. It will work. And the other one is payables, note, invoice, note. 1 second. How is name exactly? Manage payables, invoice, note. Manage. You can find it below. Yeah, manage payables, invoice, note. So these are all based on our requirement only. Okay, but minimum one action you have to select, otherwise you cannot complete this. You cannot define it. So that's it. This is how we have to select. Now you can scroll it right here and say okay, done. So our custom duty role is ready. Now you can click on next. Still, if you want to add some additional privileges into this, you can do that. Your system is taking our custom duty role name. Okay, so still if you want to add any other duty roles or altogether job roles or any additional privileges, that also you can do in this stage also. This is the duty role, so we cannot assign to user. Okay,
So when we create a role, do we specify is this a duty role or the job role?
just now we did right. Are you following the discussion? The first basic information, that's what we given.
Okay,
Yeah, we given that. We given. I think you didn't notice that. We should select. Otherwise, system cannot understand. Okay.
correct.
Yeah. We given that. We'll see again. We'll be creating the job role at the time we can understand. See, fine. So then say here you can notice all the functional security policies added. 18 privileges this user got, this role got, because everything we added through the seeded duty role. Seeded duty role we selected into this and we customized. So this you cannot assign to the user. Say save and close. Okay, done. We created duty role. Okay, we created duty role. Now we'll go and create the job role from the scratch. Say save and close. Done. Now we'll create the job role. Say create role. So the same naming convention will use cloud INC, CINC, accounts payable manager. So any name you can take how you want. So write the role code, accounts payable manager. So okay, sorry, it's a code, right? You can go with the uppercase only. use underscores as a recommendation. Accounts. So here we are specifying the role type, job role or duty role. Here we are giving. Okay, for duty role we given as duty role. Now we are creating job role. Select financials, job role. So this is also for the same purpose, invoice creation. Or else it may be for invoice creation, payment creation. In that case, before you create this job role, create two duty roles. Okay, to create two duty roles as per a requirement, one for invoice creation, other one for payment creation. Okay, now you can click on next, and here you can add the custom duty role which you created. Add function security policy. So this is the one which we created, right? CINC invoice creation. Select it. Say add. Done. So within that, what privileges we have, all system is displaying here. So in this stage also we can add or delete. Okay, you no need to get the privileges only from the duty role. The privileges directly can be added into job role also. This is job role, right? We can add here. You can add some additional privileges which are not available in the specific duty role, or else whatever the privileges we have in the specific duty role which we selected, those you can delete from here. You can select specific privilege and you can delete. From this stage also you will be able to override. You can just do the modification, but that those will be applicable for only this job role only. How the duty role is created, within that what privilege we have, those will remain. Once you select, the privilege will be copied into this. You can do the modification, those will be applicable only for this job role. Fine, then click on next. So data security policies, this also just what you can do is, so look at the seeded one. So what we are creating, accounts payable manager. Here search for accounts payable manager. This required access to so many data resource access. Select it. We are not going to edit, but just to view that information, I am selecting the editor role option. Okay, click on next. Click on next. Here you can notice data security policies. You can see all this. So if you are creating them from scratch, all you have to repeat for your role. Okay, your custom role you have to repeat. Okay, so the mostly like what we do, we copy and we modify. That is the best practice which we follow instead of writing all the data security policies. Anyway, just one or two will just do it for our understanding. So the same you can take into your custom one. The first one. So create data security policy. Okay, data resources business unit. Select business unit. Fine. So policy description. So condition, access the business units for which the user is explicitly authorized. Okay, allow the user, the where the user is given access to the data access for users. Okay, privileges, these privileges we have to give. Here data set, here we have to understand select by key. When you say select by key, that means you are trying to make this job role to have access to only one business unit. Here you can give the BU ID. If you provide the business unit ID here, that means in terms of within the definition itself, you are hard coding. This role can have access to only specific BU. If you provide this specification, you don't need to just give some additional specification, but generally we don't use this kind of thing. Like when you create, that can be used for any business unit depending on the requirement. But if you want to limit this role access, this role can have access to only one business unit. In that case, you can add that BU ID here. How to get the BU ID? You can hard code. Okay, that will be just directly mapped with the BU. Whenever you assign, if you assign that role to any user, so within the role definition itself, you connect it to business unit. So again, you don't need to do the access privileges, etc. So whenever you assign this role to any user, the user will have access to by default only that one BU. So rest of process is not applicable if you do in this way. But generally, we don't do in that way. So whenever you create any role, that can be used across the different. That is the reason we go with the standard process of assigning the role and providing the data access for users. That would be the just best practice. Say manage business units. So it's not units, it should be unit. That's how they given the name. Manage business unit. So now if you want to set your BU access, only one BU access for this role, the BU ID is required. See here, the column name is BU ID number. Find your BU. So this is our BU. You could see very limited columns: name, activity, location, and manager. 4 columns we have. Okay, 4 fields we have. In case of EBS, for any record, if you want to see the additional columns, what we'll do, we'll go to folder show field, right? Same way here also, you can just go to this navigation view columns. So the selected displayed columns are these 4, and there is one more column which you can add, business unit ID. Okay, select it. The BU ID also getting displayed. This is the BU ID, business unit ID. This you can make a note. 3000000 166 946 441. So this is our BU ID. This you have to take into this. Okay, you have to take into this. So reality, what system will do is, so within this duty job role, what are the duty role we have? Within the duty role, what privileges we have, those privileges only it will allow. But actions are mandatory all the time. For any role, actions are mandatory. Select any one of the relevant one. But when you talk about giving the read-only access and all, yes, whatever you select here, those will work. Okay, here any one of the action you can select related to payables, you can select, or else as they just giving as a recommendation, you can select it. Since it's a payables, manage payable invoices, one privilege is enough. That's what they are specifying, that one you can select. Reason, at least one is mandatory. Any one you can select, but always select relevant one. But because what you are enabling here as a access privileges, because of this you are not going to have access to system. Whatever you have as a part of the role, that only will take the high priority. So here you can say manage payable invoices. Yeah. Manage payables invoice. This you can select. Done. Say okay. Or else you don't want to go, you don't want to just bind it. You don't want to map directly BU here. You want to keep this role flexible, where you can assign any BU to this based on the requirement and process. In that case, go to data set. So here you select by instance set. Okay, here you can find many conditions. Okay, so generally we use this one. Access the business units for which the user is explicitly authorized. Even that's what they used, and that's recommended to use. Access to the business units for which the user is explicitly authorized. For which view you provide access, that view access only user required. So that's how you can select. The rest action is remain same. Then you can save it. Okay, so that's how you can just select these options. That always you can refer if you are creating from scratch. Refer the seeded one. That's it. Refer the seeded one. Follow that, and you can just create. So then that will have a connectivity with the required all the data resources to utilize in the system process. But the best thing what normally we do is we copy and we modify. When you copy and modify, you will be copying and modifying the privileges, not data security policies. Data security once you copy and when you are modifying, you no need to change the data security policies. Let system keep as is, which are coming from the copied duty role or job role. Those will remain same. Rest will be changing. Then you can continue with that. That is the practice we follow. Okay. So just say okay. We just selected this. Then you can click on next. If you want to add any, so see here, this is a job role. Within the job role, the same it is showing. Along with that, if you want to add any other additional job roles or any duty roles, those also you can add in this level. Then click on next. Since this is a job role, you will be able to assign to your user. Okay, you can assign to your user if you want to assign, or you can create another separate user. If you want to test this, you can assign to that user. Okay, so our username is cloud inc. Assign to the same user. Done. Then click on next, and so in the same way you can assign the same role to multiple users from here itself if you want to assign same time. So here you can notice functional security policies added as 18, and data security policies added only one data security policy we added by referring this, right? The first one only we added, and hierarchy users, one user we added. Okay, so that's how just you can create the custom job role from the scratch. So these are the points we have to understand when you talk about the roles. Okay, so how to compare, how to just look into the role, what privileges we have. The best option is you can go with the compare. That will give the complete understanding about very detailed tasks. And if you want to just create your own role, the two options, one is copy and modify, other one is create from the scratch. And don't edit seeded roles. You can, they given the edit functionality to use for custom roles. You can create some custom role, and custom role you can just go with edit option anytime, but don't use that edit function, edit action to modify the seeded. Okay, so in the same you can simulate, and all those are the points you have seen in the administrator level when you are copying as per your preference. Okay, you can set those specifications, the suffix how it should come and all. So those you can just give here. It's not a great thing. Like normally we'll be writing. If you are not going to write the specifications, then that suffix or prefix are required. So normally when you create the custom roles, will be rewriting the naming, right? Right. Just will be writing. That's how it works. Okay. So this is what just if you want to see that the role assignment and etc. You can sign out and sign in, and you can see that is assigned to this user. The next step is assigning that business unit to that role and running the role synchronization. That quite common task which we know. So we can do that. Those are rest of process. Once role is ready, what to do, we know that, right? That's it. Cloud inc. If you go to user part, security console, Go to users. So CINC, accounts payables manager USA. Okay. So this is how just you can add the rest of process through data access for users will assign the BU and run the role synchronization, then that will start working. So if you want to test that thing, what you could do is, best thing is you create separate user and assign the role. Then you will just understand like how you do the modifications. Those will be able to see. Otherwise, if you are trying with the same existing user, the existing user may have access to all the privileges from the different roles. The different roles may have access because the new role which you assign, so that whatever the privilege it has, it will give the access to the user. Rest you will be finding from other user. The best thing is when you do the customization, at least for when you are testing also. So when you are testing better, you can create the custom role that you assign to the new user, so that you will see that impact because of the role how you are getting access, how it is different from standard serial roles. Those you can understand. So just try in that way. So that's all about the custom roles to understand. Okay, just you try from your end. If any just queries, we will work on it. So that's all for today. Any questions from anyone, please?